I'm making predictions, and in this lesson you learn to make predictions from line graphs. Remember, let's recall what we learned from 2-1 all the way to 2-4. In 2-1 we learned how to create a frequency table, and in 2-2 we learned how to create a frequency table using scales and intervals. 2-3 we discovered how to create different types of graphs, a line graph and a bar graph, to represent our data from our frequency table, and we discussed how the two are different. Okay, in 2-4 we talked about reading circle graphs. Okay, but the more important thing that we need to understand in trying to do 2-5 is that when we talk about changes in time, we referred to line graphs. Okay, so we go back to this example. The line graph shows the population of the world since 1900. In 1992, the United Nations predicted that the world population could increase to by the year 2000. Okay, how did they predict that? Let's find out. Okay, by this graph alone. Okay, we can use a prediction. We can use a line graph to predict by following these steps. Step number 1. Okay, we want to extend the graph as shown by the dashed line. This is the dashed line right there that we're talking about. Okay, in step number 2, okay, draw a horizontal line from the point where the extension intersects the 2000 grid line. So this is your 2000 grid line right here. Okay, and we draw a red line from the 2000 grid line, and we notice that it goes all the way to the number 6, which represents 6 billion. Okay, and step number 3, you can see that the population of the world could be over 6 billion by the year 2000. Okay, so it could be over 2 billion by the year 2000. And that's how they were able to predict, okay, that the world population could increase by 6 billion, would increase 6 billion by the year 2000. Okay, let's look at example number 1, and let's go back to the same graph. Predict the world population by the year 2020. Identify any assumptions, okay, that you make, that you use to make your prediction. Okay, now again, what we did was we extended the line. In this case, we still extend the line, extend the dashed line so it intersects the 2020 grid line. If the extension aligns with the segment if this extension aligns with the segment between 1980 and 1990, world population could be around 8 billion by the year 2020. How does that work? Okay, by creating that line, if you notice, okay, it crosses all the way to 8. Okay, and that's how, okay, and that's how it says here the world population could be around 8 billion by the year 2020. Suppose the population growth between 1990 and 2000 matches the rate of growth between 1940 and 1950 instead of between 1980 and 1990. What would the population be in the year 2000? Okay, so again, let's read that question. Suppose the population growth between 1990 and 2000 matches the rate of growth between 1940 and 1950. And if you look at 1940 to 1950, this is the rate of growth right here. Okay, and if we follow the same slope from 1990, this one right here, okay, so 1940 to 1950, this line right here, if we follow that, okay, from 1980 to 1990, what would the population be in the year 2000? Okay, so from 1980 to 1990, 1980 to 1990, that would be, it flattens out instead of that steep, probably that steep right there. Okay, if we follow that rate of growth, okay, what will be the population in the year 2000? The line segment between 1990 1940 to 1950 is not as steep as the one between 1980 to 1990, the population would probably be less than 6 million. Why? Because if we start extending that line right here, okay, it would fall here, so it would probably less than 6 billion if that was the rate of growth, okay, for those 10 years. And that's how you create your predictions using a line graph. Okay, lesson's done. Google Forms, type a summary of what you've learned by responding to the objective of the lesson and type a question you might want to ask in class. Thank you.